Alrighty, we are live. It's been a while. Welcome everybody. I'll do the usual. I'll kind of chill out here while everybody checks in. We've already got some people doing that. Ryan Gabriel, Trip Harrison, Joshua Potts. Yo, Trip, what's happening, brother? Darren Hall's in. So, like I said, we'll chill for a minute and a half here, and then we'll get rolling. I say it's not going to be a long episode, but you know me. It's been a while since I've talked to you guys, so. Tegan Malone, Jeremy Black. What's up, Jeremy? Herb Brown, Brian McGinnis, Ryan Superfly Palumba, Zach Hood, Jeffrey Carr, Hannah Pagaski. What's up, Hannah? Larry Walcott, Tyler Branny. Tyler, is good catching up with you at Bobby's race, 12-hour race. That was fun. Haven't seen you in a while. Evening, Ryan. Zachary, I know you guys are, man. I think you guys are going to really, really pick it up next year. I'm super stoked for what you guys got going on over there. Ellen White, yo. Renee Hernandez, what's up? Bryce Bell's checking in. David Copeland as well. So while you guys continue to check in, I got a whole scenario of stuff going on here. So one of my new faves, and I know you guys laugh at me because I drink really shitty beer, but I don't care. That's kind of my thing. So I haven't been drinking PBR, and I can blame Jay Black on this, Jeremy Black. He checked in a minute ago. This is his fault. But this Natty Light, this is the, what is it? The Natter Days Strawberry Lemonade. This stuff is delicious. So this is my new choice. And you know what? So for all you boys out there paying you go to the restaurant and you buy an IPA and you pay like $6 a beer, I can buy a 6-pack of these tall boys for $6. So cost effective. So let me pour one of these down here and get it going. I have it pre-poured, so you guys are getting to see if I can make a decent pour or not. Not too bad on my first try. It's good. Good. It's tasty. And in my Homer Simpson shot glass, got a little Jaeger time going, so got a little Jaeger time just in case. That's just some sipping liqueur right there, fellas. And ladies. We got ladies checking in as well. Let me roll back up. I missed a few. So Andrew Foster's in the house. And yeah, Tyler, for sure. Right on, brother. Man, I can't wait. I might have to come up in Texas and see and do some of the races up there, and hopefully you can get back here. Gene Daniels in the house. John Farrow, Jeremy Black, good. Herb Brown, Herb Brown says, "Oh, that's a foul." Oh, Herb, man, come on now. I make a lot of drinking fouls, so it's kind of my gig. Mike Frazier, what's happening, brother? So all this crappy weather that's coming, all you guys, I always tell this story, and I told Mike Frazier. Mike Frazier checked in. He's among other things, he's a bike messenger in Dallas metro area. So every time that you guys, think you're all that because you went out and rode in the cold. So just think about all this crappy weather that's coming. We're supposed to have sleet and snow and ice and all this other stuff. Mike still has to go out and ride his bike and make things happen. So I'll call Mike my F5 rule. So anytime I feel like, I'm being a wuss and I really needed to get out and just man up, I always think of Mike and like, I know he's going to call me a pussy if I don't go out and do it. So, he's my ruler. Tammy Farrow, what's happening? Oh, Alan, I totally am a beer slut, brother. Yeah, I am. Daniel Lemons. Oh, Herb. Oh, Herb. Herb's dissing me hard for the beer here. That's okay. I can take it. John DeVito till what's happening. Alex Canada, Andrew Foster. John says, hey. Daryl Stills, Brent White, Mr. Stephen Cortis, Michael Pickle. Jeffrey Carr, you saw my post earlier. For sure. I got the fever too. Brad Eaton, Hunter Farrington, Dustin Easter. Dustin, man, you need to stay checked into this. You're going to like what I have to say. Mitch Armstrong, Amy Peyton Bean, Alex Kennedy. Oh, I already said Alex. Rob Bell's even in the house. Hey, Amy. Mike Frazier. Hope you were listening, Mike. I just talked about you. Told the story that I've said a few times about you. So, David Swanson, David Nolte. Okay, people are going to keep checking in. I'll try to call everybody out just because it's kind of my thing. But welcome to the weekly Wizard update. I'm Corey, the Wizard. I think unless you guys know me or you wouldn't be checking in, but I still feel obligated to identify myself in case somebody actually checks this out on YouTube when I finally get it uploaded, and I'm always slow as shit at getting it uploaded. But it's been a while. I've taken a little bit of a hiatus. Variety of things. A lot of it was scheduling, and my kids going to college with the little schedule change for me there, and just a variety of things. So I just needed to take a break. It was just a time maintenance thing, and school's kind of in the house now, so we're all settled and getting towards mid-semester, and we're all good. No, Mike, you're all good. Mike Frazier just checked in, missed it. So no, Mike, I always talk about you being my F5 reel because I know what you do for a living. I know that you're always riding, and no matter how shitty the conditions, you're doing it. So you're my ruler. So whenever I feel like I'm questioning whether I need to go out and ride in the bad weather, I always think of you, and I up my game. So I've taken a little bit of a break, and I figured, I've been looking at getting back into this because I enjoy doing it, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I think it's fairly informative. At least I try. And what better way to do it than to open with the release of the 2020 Turd to Dirt race schedule? So that's my plan tonight. We're gonna go over that, briefly talk about each of the dates. We've got one new date. A lot of you guys have probably already seen this. I posted it just about 5 minutes before I went here. I think I can actually copy it. I had it pasted. Let's see if I can paste it here. Yeah, it's going to be kind of spaced out, so I apologize. I'll edit it while we talk here. I'll take the spaces out while we talk. But I'll copy it in a comment here in just a second. But we're going to talk about the race series for the upcoming 2020 season. So we have a lot of familiar courses. We have one new course. We're only doing 9 races this year. We're doing things that are mostly the same, but a little different. As we make changes every year, it seems like I'm always moving things around, doing things slightly differently for various reasons. A lot of it's trial and error. Some of it is just things that we've discovered over the seasons that work and don't work. And let me hit enter on this. Hang on. Boom. There we go. So there, you should have it now. So if you didn't see the post that I posted on Turd to Dirt about 15 minutes ago with the schedule, then now you have it. So I think we have a good schedule. I'm sure there will be conflicts. There always are. I'm sure there's things that I've missed, but me and my board have worked really hard on trying to limit conflicts where we can, accept conflicts where we think they're minimal. There's just no way to make it all perfect. It's just not the way things work. So let's see. Let's go up here. I'm going to go up before I jump into this and see who I missed. Robert Ferris, Craig McIntyre. What's happening, Craig? Looking forward to seeing you here shortly in a couple months. Love what you got going down there in Shawnee. Looking forward to the Shawnee Gravel Grinder. If you guys have not registered for that, you might consider it. It's just definitely going to be a topic on an upcoming episode. Richard Bean, James Dempsey, what's happening, brother? Good to see you check in. You need to check in with me. I haven't talked to you in a while. Sean McMichael, Tom Ugleen, Karen Christensen, Kevin Bates, Jetty Harrison, what's happening? And Richard Brown, Mitch Armstrong, Jamie Whiteside, what's happening? Mitch, I agree. I'll talk about that. Mitch chimed in and said he likes Crispins in the spring, and that was actually a decision that we made last year. So I'll talk about that decision and why we made that here shortly. So yeah. Awesome, Frazier. Black Cat. I'm looking forward to Black Cat for sure. Alan, nobody talked about gravel, brother, but it's always on our mind. Actually, take that back. I guess you called me out. I totally did just talk about gravel. So, but yeah, gravel's cool. We like it. Boom. Tommy Jeffries, Dustin Alexander. Oh, Dustin Barrier. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead. You've got all your names in there. Carter Fairless, what's happening? Let's see. So I've kind of jumped back into it. Let me see if I've missed anything on my notes. I wrote a few notes here beforehand. I'm ready to just jump right into it. So let's talk about the schedule. So you saw the post. I made the thread a minute ago. Right out of the gate, big change. February is not an unusual date for us. We haven't done February in a while. We've been trying off and on with Turkey Mountain, but weather has just not been very cooperative. We've done it successfully in years past. I'd have to go back 3 and 4 years and see what those dates were, but honestly, hell, I can't remember without looking it up. I think I've been doing this now for about 5 years, so it all kind of blends in together. But we typically start very, very end of February, but typically early March. I had a schedule all laid out. We dropped a venue this year, and when we did that, I contemplated adding one, losing one. It put us at 8 venues because we only had 9 last year. We've got plenty that we could add, but I'm not looking at really adding more races this year. So tasty. Or next year. But I like 9 races seemed fine, and I figured we could do it pretty effectively. One of the big things that we've tried to do over the last 3 years, I believe, I think 3 or 4, I think it's the last 4 years, is we've compressed the schedule. So we used to go from pretty much early March, even sometimes early February, all the way to early November. And that spread the season out a lot like Arkansas does. So you really have a first part of the season and you have the second part of the season, but the second part lasts a little bit longer. I tried to eliminate that. And the main reason is just because cross is so popular at the time that I was doing a lot of cross then. And I wanted to, I just wanted to avoid that conflict. And I think we've done a really good job of that. Cross kind of has their October, November, and then December schedule. And then obviously if you're doing, upper level things like nationals and things like that, often you end up going into January. I'm not sure where nationals is at this year. I think last year it was in December, but I think probably this year it's back to maybe a January type date. But I haven't looked. I'm not really doing much of the cross stuff this year. Not for any particular reason other than I'm just too busy. And I need to take a bit of a break, and this is my break season. So unfortunately, that means I can only do so many races, and cross just doesn't work for me. Even though it's super fun, I love it, and I love the races, but it just can't make it. So, gosh, I don't even know where I was going or how I got on that track, but hey, that's just kind of the way I am. My mind just kind of wanders, and I start talking cycling stuff. So. Let's get down to the first race of the season, Lake Tom Steed. I think that's where I started. I just didn't say Lake Tom Steed. I was thinking of the early February date, which is February 23rd. and I was thinking February, and it just led me into scheduling. So we are going to start with Lake Tom Steed. So I figure probably a handful of you guys remember Lake Steed. This is my home course, that of which I don't ride, mainly because I have to maintain it, and I haven't done a very good job of that because I do this, and I work, and I have kids in college, and I race all the time. So I have to admit that if it wasn't for a couple of my friends in Altus, Josh Frazier being one of them, and his crew, Steed wouldn't even be possible to ride because there's nobody to maintain it. And but I've been super motivated. I went out there. I've been out there for the last 2 weekends doing trail work, and I have half of the course open, and I still have probably another 2 or 3 days of work to do, and the course will be open. I'll try to get it marked immediately after that. Unfortunately, the weather's not going to cooperate. I was going to spend 2 or 3 days of Thanksgiving out there, finishing up the weed eating, and then hopefully mark it immediately after. But I think the weather's supposed to suck for the next few days, so I don't know if I'm going to get back out there or not. We'll see. Regardless, I will have it done by Christmas. So I'll have the course ready by Christmas, and I'll have it marked. This is not a very high use course with all kinds of different, users. It gets its users, but not like some of the courses where markers get taken down. So I can go mark this thing and it'll stay marked. It is going to be a challenging course, and I hope you guys can see the rock here. I don't know how well the video, but I hope you can see that there's there's a little, this is a granite rock. You're going to see plenty of these bad boys at Lake Steed. And, I think maybe you can probably expect to get something like this to take home if you get on the podium. So notice the red splatter. You can't really, I don't know, maybe you can see on this side. I'm going to knock stuff over if I start moving things around. So, got a little blood there in case you spilled some blood, which might or might not happen. So it's a super technical course. It's a little different. I'd say it's it's more closely related to Medicine Park, but it doesn't have the elevation and doesn't have anything loose. So it's still different on its own, but it's a very, very technical course. It's going to be a very short course. I'm looking at doing an alternative prologue that's going to last maybe 15-ish minutes, 15 or so minutes. I haven't actually gotten to time it yet. I will do that and let everybody know. But anyway, I think it's going to be a cool venue. First race of the season right out of the gate. You guys are going to come out to my territory. I'm going to get to sleep in my own bed and go to a race and promote it myself. I'm actually going to promote it myself. So I've already got it permitted through the park, and I'll have it permitted through USA Cycling pretty soon, over the next few weeks. If Thanksgiving sucks like it's supposed to, and I can't get out and do trail work, I may just permit it this coming week since I'm off work. So, all right, let me see if I missed anything, and then I'll answer any questions, and I'll move on to the next venue. Andrew Foster. I like Christmas, but it doesn't like me. Yeah, you had a rough one out there, brother. Let me know how you're doing. I haven't talked to you in a while, so I know you shredded your knee out there, tons of stitches and stuff like that. So that happens. That's just part of the gig. You fall wrong and hit the wrong thing, and it just slices you. I crashed out there pretty hard myself, but I was a little bit luckier than you. I just kind of saw birds and stars for a little bit. So Kenny Cavallero, Kyle Beckel, what's up, brother? It's probably snowing where you're at right now. Debbie's changed her name on Facebook. It's Debbie Ugling now. So stoked for you and Tom. Quincy Simon, Lauren Mays, yeah, you as well. Good to see you. And Lindsay Malott checked in. Todd Wendricks, John Bellman, Greg Grosshands, Mickey Payne, Andrew says, "Is that my blood?" No, no, Andrew, you're good. It's not yours. Actually, it's just craft paint. But that's the whole point. So, Sean Smethers, I most assuredly am. I am drinking Jaeger and Natterdays mixed together, and not to leave out my crew, of which 2 years later I still do not have a T-shirt. Team Wine Box. Just in case, but I kind of got over here in the corner where nobody can see it. So, Larry Walcott says Tom Steed equals Medicine Park version 2. It is. It's very technical, like Medicine Park. But that's what's cool about all the trails in Oklahoma is that you can compare trails because they're similar, but each trail is different just simply because of whether it's their rock, the type of rock they have, or the type of dirt they have, or the surface that they have. And that's what's so cool about Oklahoma that nobody realizes is that we have such a variety of terrain and courses and trails. Obviously, tons of other people get a lot more, cool factors. And everybody talks about going to Colorado and Utah, and of course, obviously Northwest Arkansas, which we love to go to, is awesome. But we have such a variety of trail terrain and trails here that I just really don't think that Oklahoma gets the credit that they deserve for all that they have and all the work that all our trail builders do. So, Chip and Charlotte Smith, what's happening? Perry Cosner, what's up, brother? Okay, so let's go on. Lake Tom Steed, it's been 06 since we had a race here. Dustin Easter, I hope you're listening, brother, because it's your fault that I'm linked in with Steed. I still remember that time you drugged me out there it must have been 02 or 03, and you were still probably a teenager. I said I'd never come back, but yet here I am. St. Crispin's. So we had a comment earlier talking about moving to St. Crispin's up in the spring, and so we had this plan last year, and this really kind of started with 2 consecutive years of Turkey at being our first race of the season in that early time frame, and weather's just so fickle. And we had, we've had to reschedule. We had to reschedule Turkey because the use of Turkey, the course terrain, the course that we were using, the way it handles water, just is difficult. It is. It's just difficult. It's a more sensitive trail, especially the trails that we were using, and that time of year was just difficult. And we looked, and I talked to both promoters, Ray and St. Crispin's, and we just talked it out, and for 2 very good reasons, we just decided to switch the 2. So the very first thing is that the last 2 years in a row when we've canceled or changed, we didn't cancel, I'm sorry, we rescheduled the race for Turkey, or we held the race at Turkey and it was muddy for whatever reason. All of those dates, if you checked in at St. Crispin's, we could have had the race at St. Crispin's without any issue because of the terrain and the texture of the course and the nature of the terrain that they have. We could have held that race there. And on the other hand, the time that St. Crispin's was going, which was at the end of the season, is really, really hard for Mike and Joanne because they have a whole bunch of other church camps and youth camps and different groups that are coming in at the same time that we're trying to hold a race. And March is a much better time for them. So it was just a natural flow. And we had actually, just through talking with Mike and Joanne Roberts, as well as Ray Hall, we had decided early on last year to flip those. And we made that change. So we hope it works well. I think it will. And it definitely works for both of our promoters. I think it'll make it much more likely that we will have less weather issues with Turkey, and we'll have it'll make it much easier for the promoters at St. Crispin's. So, of course, you guys don't realize anything, at St. Crispin's. You just come out and race, but you have no idea that while we're racing, Mike and Joanne are also fighting the fact that they've got other groups of people on their side at St. Crispin's doing things. So they're multitasking, and it's just difficult. So those are things that we work out, and so that's going to happen. So March 1st, we're going to be at St. Crispin's. So, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm sure they'll come up with a cool course. They varied their course the last few years, and we always come up with something cool. Let's see. Susan Young joins. Shane Brown, Jesse Puckett, Victor Cashes, Austin Edgar. Austin, I thought you joined early. You must have got out and come back in. Richie Bean, correct. No Elk City. Yeah, so no Elk City this year. Todd Davis joined. What's happening? Trip Harrison. Trip is talking to Victor in Spanish, I suppose. I don't know what that is because not happening. True story. Edgar, true story. Trish Draper, what's happening? Trish is in the house. All right, I'm caught up. You guys, hey, if you guys have questions or comments or things that you want me to respond to, drop them in the comments. I do follow these. I'm like looking at my computer right here. You see me scrolling up and down. So I will occasionally miss something. If you guys really, really bomb me with a whole bunch of lines, maybe I won't scroll up far enough, but I'll try to answer everything. So if you guys have questions, just toss them out. Let's move on. Sooner Stampede. Basically same time, same place. We're only going to have 2 races in March. Main reason is because March was just crazy stacked with all kinds of conflicts. All kinds of things happening. Between Land Run, there's the OU road race. There is Wichita Challenge. So March is crazy stacked. So even though there's only 2 races in March, it's still going to be a crazy week for most people because everybody's going to be doubling up. Just kind of the way it works. I mean, I think I had this conversation with Cy Nola on a comment on a thread on Tour de Dirt talking about back-to-backs, and I was like, back-to-backs are nothing, dude. If you haven't done a back-to-back, then you're not really racing that much. If you do multiple disciplines, let alone one, even if you do one discipline, all the disciplines back-to-back. If you do multiple disciplines, there's no way around it. It's just kind of part of the gig. So, Sooner Stampede, March 22nd. I've been watching, and they've been had somebody just message me and said the wind took out their internet. I'm hoping that doesn't happen to me because it's like howling outside right now. I'm sure they'll have something cool. Team warm-up cycling team. Boys rock, girls rock, and every year we have something new out there. They change up the route, change up the course. They've got so much to work with out there, and they do such a wonderful job of it. Saw today they're out there doing some work on the bridge, so in the lumber yard. So they got that bridge tamed up, fixed up. So yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. This is usually we usually have 2 or 3 pinnacle races throughout the year, and a lot of it is hype, a lot of it is location, a lot of it is environment, and for whatever reason, and a lot of times people just come up with a recipe for success, and Team Warm Up Cycling Team has done that. And every year, this race is typically our largest turnout, or close. I think last year we had someone top them, but we've had 2 or 3 venues that have had some really good showings, and this is one of our races that every year we're always right at that 200-ish number, which is just, that's kind of our goal and our go-to. So, Jeff Metcalf, welcome. Katie Winters, and Eddie Reimer from KS. So let's move it on. Sooner Stampede, March 22nd. That'll take us through, like I said, we'll have Land Run in that mix before that. And then we'll do Sooner Stampede. And then right after that, we'll have Ouachita Challenge. So a lot of us that'll be a triple back to back to back, which will be, interesting. But hey, that's just that's the life of a bike racer. So kind of normal. And we will then roll straight through and have another back-to-back. So we won't no rest for the weary, and we move right into our Fool's Dozen at Medicine Park. And that's going to be on April the 5th, right? Yeah, I can't see. I got to get I'm not wearing my glasses. So April the 5th, and I think I've been talking to the boys at Medicine Park, and I think we kind of have the course dialed in. I think everything is going to be very, very similar to last year. I don't think things are going to change too much. Even with the Cat 1-2 course, I think the Cat 1-2 course is going to stay mostly the same. I did ride out there with them 3 weeks ago, and there is a little addition to the course in the middle of the yellow bus, which is part of those rocky switchbacks on the south side of the ridge. There's just one small addition there, but I don't know. I mean, there'll probably be some small changes, but I think for the most part, we're going to keep the race courses about the same. I say we, it's not we, it's them, but I mean, I'm just talking to them because they're my friends. And, but one thing I do want to talk about is that there is a whole ton of stuff happening for that weekend. And it's something that they've been talking about, and I've been talking with Chad and Mark and Larry about that. And they're going to, I don't have the exact phrase for it, but they're going to have like a overall winner for, they're going to have a whole bunch of events all weekend. They're going to have some downhills. They're going to have some enduro stuff. They're going to have the axe thing. They're going to have the beer tasting contest, all the usual stuff that we have all weekend. However, there's going to be a point system for everything, and they are going to have an overall winner that they're going to award for that. And it's going to be like Jester in the Park. They have a couple of sponsors, one or two sponsors, big sponsors already that have forked out a lot of dough for this. So not only is there going to be a prize, there's just actually prize and money, I think, involved in this. So not only, so if you can come out, and if you participate in all the events and you do okay in all these different events, you could possibly win Jester of the Park. And again, I'm probably butchering exactly what they want to call it, but we'll come back on a later episode when the race gets closer, and we'll talk more specifics about that. But that's going to be the thing that they have. They've already got a band lined up. I think last time I talked to Chad, he was supposed to be calling them, getting them lined up, and I can't remember the name band. I'll Google it here in a minute to see, but it's supposed to be like, it should be a pretty cool band. It's going to be early. I don't know. I don't even know what it's going to be. I'm not going to bother details with that. So just know that it's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be cool. So Mike Roberts, what's happening? Alan Oatsville, Kevin Snyder joined. Lewis Lindenberg, what's happening, brother? Good to see you. Or good to see your name. Good. Glad you checked in. I haven't talked to you in a while. Kevin Snyder, Cat 1-2, punched me in the face. I assume you're talking or Medicine Park. Yeah, it could do that. But to me, it's a great course. It's a good mixture. That's the one thing I loved about last year's course. I always work with the guys, and we want it to be hard because Medicine Park is hard. But at the same time, we want it to be rideable. And I felt that last year's course was a really, really good mix of all of that. So it's definitely hard, definitely kicks your butt, but it's totally doable. And honestly, outside of a couple of the switchbacks, which you could easily just put a foot down on, I didn't feel that there was anything that was scary. I do the air quotes with that. I mean, there's plenty of things that are scary, but that doesn't mean that they're really super crazy hard. I felt that the Medicine Park course was hard, but there was nothing scary. It was all rideable for the most part. I mean, I dabbed a few times. But, that means Cat 2s are probably going to dab. But, I mean, it's rideable. It's doable. And I think it's a good mix. And I think that's going to be a great course. So, all right, let's move on and get into some little Homer Simpson Jaeger. I haven't had Jaeger in a while. So where are we at? I am at 35 minutes. Not too bad. Except I'm not halfway through the list and I keep talking a lot. So let's get to moving. Boulder Bash. So this is one of those courses. It's just it's kind of funny how Boulder Bash has played out. We've had some weather issues. It seems like we go from one extreme to the next at Boulder Bash. We go from it being so damn hot that you can't see, you can't function because you're just fried, to it's freezing balls the next year. To last year, I think last year was pretty good. Last year was good. So I guess we finally got that magic mix. I do take the blame for the finish up on the uphill, although I still do like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That was a long-ass finish uphill. But that was my fault. That was my suggestion. So when you want to call anybody a dumbass, and, hey, I had to write it too. I had to do the same thing. So it sucked, but, that was my fault. I don't know. We'll see. Kind of liked it still. Still one of my favorite courses. It's a great mixture. It's got some good flow. It's got some rock sections. It's got some fast sections. It's just a great mix. And actually, it's kind of progressed over the last 3 years, starting out with a very low turnout to last year. I think it had probably one of our second highest turnouts. So I think we had, I can't remember the numbers, but the numbers were really, really good last year. We had a ton. And they do a super cool kids course up top that the kids love. And honestly, half of the adults warm up on the Kids Cup course. So it's super cool. Trip Harrison, I agree with you, man. Boulder Bash is the bomb, and that uphill finish did hurt. Yeah, I thought I was going to die going up that hill. So I was in such a race, though, with freaking Chris Renshaw, and he attacked me with it probably wasn't 5 to go, and he put a gap. Luckily for me, he put a gap on me. So by the time I got to the hill, it wasn't a race anymore. I could see him finishing at the top, but there was no reason to race because I wasn't catching him, so I didn't have to race up it. I'm just glad I didn't have to sprint up it on the finish. I think Jackson Renshaw won the race there. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I remember him having to sprint someone up that in the Cat 3 category. So. Danny Prather says, if you can ride Medicine Park, you can ride anything. Well, Danny, you need to come to Steed on the first race of the season, and we'll see if that statement holds true. So, but I do agree with that statement. So I would mostly agree with that. Lisa Norris and Scott Stinson joined. Welcome, guys and gals. Ryan Palumba. I reject your statement. No, that should not be true. So Ryan Palumba says, whoever decided on the uphill finish should have to do it 3 times for the finish. No, that's not fair. Welcome, Stacy. Trip Harrison says legit set a new highest HR on that finish. I can totally see that. So, although, you know what? we may just fucking do it again next year because, I mean, hey, why not? It's there. And it's cool to finish up top. Nolan Crampy, what's happening, brother? Okay, let's move on. Boulder Bash is good. It's one of my favorite courses. I love the flow of that place, and it fits my skills. I like it just because for whatever reason, I still haven't quite figured it out. It fits my skills and things like that. So, Debbie just chimed in for her and Tom. She says everyone was blaming us for the new finish. Debbie and Tom are our officials for many of you that don't know, and. Yeah, no, it was totally not their fault. It was mine. Nolan Crampy, what's up, brother? All right, so moving on. Man, we're making progress, so we're good. RDR. Team Phoenix is going to put this guy on, and yes, we know it's Mother's Day. Discussed it with him, and we've done this before, and I usually take a lot of shit over this, but they thought it was cool, and I thought it was cool, and I think we can make a run of it. And they're going to do some very cool things. We know what we get at Draper. I don't know what course they're going to do. It won't be decided till later, but there's tons of stuff to work with at Draper. They'll go out there and they'll get that course taken care of, and barring really really crazy weather, that course is pretty rideable. It gets some muddy spots, but it's very sandy, so it holds up well. And they're going to do some cool stuff for moms. So I'm not going to overspeak for them because it's their gig and not mine. But for all of you gals that are mothers, this is Mother's Day. We're going to have a race weekend, and I realize that sometimes you want that day to be yours, and we hope to be able to make that still come true and just make that happen at a race. So I think we're going to do some cool things. And as to their director, I probably will probably talk to those guys, and as they're coming up with a plan for that, I will try to help and pitch in, because I think we can do some really cool things for all the moms out there, and get them to come out and either race or support the race or whatever, and have a really good time, and bring all their kiddos and just do all that things. So I'm glad that Team Phoenix and Kevin was not afraid to shy away from that, because I know a lot of people like to shy away from that, but I think it's fun. I think it's fun, and I think it's thematic. I think it's cool to take your race and take your venue and put a theme around it. And what better way than to do some really cool stuff around Mother's Day? Because come on, I mean, moms are awesome. So that's just the way it is, Alrighty, let's see. Next, Lake Carl Blackwell. This is Labor Day. Usually not too big of a conflict for us. Oh man, it's been a while since I've had Jaeger. Jaeger's good stuff. Labor Day sometimes is a conflict, depends on where we're having a race, but not too big of a deal. All this really means, if I'm doing it correctly, is that I think this leads in perfectly to Lake Carl Blackwell. So I'm going to be working with the promoters, and the theme over the last couple of years has always been a weekend event. 2 years ago I thought was bigger. Last year was a little bit smaller, but the whole idea is to bring everybody out to Lake Carl Blackwell and hang out pre-ride on Saturday and just hang out, drink beers, listen to music, sometimes maybe watch a game if there's somebody streaming it, and just chill and hang out, and then get up Sunday and race. So the cool thing about this is, guess what? We got Monday off. Yay. So you don't have to rush home on Sunday. You don't have to worry about, any of that stuff. So heck, maybe even stay in camp another night. So I don't know. I think it's a great theme. I think it's a great way to make a great weekend. And I mean, how cool is it that you can race on Sunday and know that you don't have to worry about getting up at whatever time you get up to go to work on Monday. So, I think it's going to be kind of cool. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be, we know what we're going to get at Lake Carl Blackwell. They've got some new additions, and what they've done with that trail is really pretty cool. It started out as a very easy trail, fast, but they've got a couple little sections, and then they've added some technical sections. So I just think that the diversity of that trail has gotten really cool. It's turned into just, from a trail that you just go out and ride, and there's a few interesting points and then kind of some not so interesting points, to the fact that now it's like that whole trail flows really well. It's got some really cool features, and it all links in together, and I really enjoy that. I enjoy the way that trail is developed. So you got the cool start. I mean, how cool is it that you start with a dual slalom? Pick a right or a left. It's the start. 30 seconds into a race, you have to pick right line or left line. You got dual slalom. They meet at the bottom, and then you go into the single track. That's cool, And then you got some single, fast, flowy single track, and then, some tight turns, and then some fast stuff, and you got, forest, and then you've got some jumps, and then you've got tech stuff, and it's, there's just like 4 or 5 sections, and everything's built in where there's like flow and speed, and it's such a great mixture, of course. And I don't know, I just have to admit, there's just something about that trail that just really gets me kind of stoked, because of the variety, and how hard it can be in certain sections and how fast it can be in certain sections, and then there's technical parts in certain sections. So you've got to be on your game. You've got to have all your skill sets ready. You've got to be ready to do everything. So admittedly, as a single speeder, that's a very hard course for me, because I have to pick a certain gear. Hey, baby. This is my doggy. So you got to say hi. You can barely see her head over here. So it's probably going to be her. She's no youngin, so this is very likely her last Thanksgiving, last Christmas. So yeah. So she can't see her now. She's just kind of roaming around in circles. But yeah. So no, I love Blackwell. I just love the way that trail's developed, and I really hope we can get the vibe of the whole weekend hangout vibe back for this year. So I think we're going to do that. And I think with the ability to have Monday off to recover, I think that's perfect. Perfect. Joshua Snyder, what's happening? Joshua checked in. Joshua, I still need to come visit you up there, man, and come check out your cabin and your trails, man. Eddie Reimer, you bet. New additions, cool and tough. Eddie Reimer, buddy. So Eddie's another one of the, the handful of folks that goes back with me, like back to the 99 era. So I think Eddie and I have been in races with one another for pretty much 20 years, off and on, because in, out, injury, not injury, and our ages are slightly different. So, he's still a few years younger than I am. So, but yeah, it's crazy how Eddie and I have been racing together for so long. Jonathan Clark, what's happening, brother? Jess Parker, Harlan Webster, like to see your dog. I'm sorry I only got a little picture of her, but hey, I can't reach my camera, so she's over here kind of laying down. So I'll try to take a picture of her and I'll post it on here after the fact. So. Dion Bean, what's happening? Dion, I was thinking of you the other day because all the Claremore guys were taking a picture and they're all hanging out in the parking lot. I don't know if they were fixing to go out for a ride or they just finished their ride, but it was a group pic. And I was thinking about that time 2 years ago at Thanksgiving. We were cruising. I was cruising with Desiree and Stephen Smith, and we were headed to Bentonville for Thanksgiving, and we decided we want to stop and check out Claremore and do a little ride in there before we rolled out. And you were in the parking lot and you shared Fireball with me. So thumbs up. You're a good man. Oh, let's see. Where are we at? All right. Man, I get sidetracked so easy. That was cool. I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about that Fireball meeting. That was 2 years ago. That's awesome. All right, we're down to our last two. September 27th, Lake Claremore. So this is a venue that, again, very similar, very, very similar to what, Lake Carl Blackwell's done, very similar to what Turkey Mountain has done. And I mean, I recommend this to everybody. I personally think this is kind of the theme to success. You don't really have to have any big events on Saturday, but I think the idea of having an event where you have like the Saturday where everybody comes and hangs out, they pre-ride, they camp, and you have a place for all that to happen. You don't even have to have any live music, although often that does happen. And I think last year what was cool at Claremore is the weather kind of got crappy, I think, or something. And we went to like, dude, I can't even remember where we went, but it was some storage locker place where they had their band inside playing. They had some big, and they just had local musicians doing their shit. I mean, you can't beat that. You just can't beat that. I mean, that was so cool. And then you're hanging out, you're camping, and it's just all so awesome. And of course they had the bar, the oyster bar, the beer bar down, on the course, which was awesome. I think David Stewart was responsible for most of that. And, he doesn't ride mountain bikes, but he's part of that whole Claremore crew. And so is Rory. Rory Peterson's the trail boss, but that damn David Stewart guy, he's always coming up with crazy, funny ideas. And I think Rory probably knows that. So Rory probably just points you in that direction and says, go make this happen. And, you got those kind of people that just can make shit happen. And it's good to have those. And, so we had a super good time last year. And Claremore's another one. So, I mean, we'll do the same thing. I'll be down there. And, I'll be car camping. That's what I usually do. I just car camp because I don't like to carry tent and shit like that. I sleep in my car. So, but yeah, bring it. Come camp. Come do your thing. And I talked about having those pinnacle races during the season, and I mentioned Sooner Stampede. They are always one of those because of location, because of venue, because of the course. All these factors that come into play that people want to show up, and Claremore has turned into one of those as well. And they are always one of those courses that are our big courses, and a lot of it's just because of everything that they do, the whole show. But as well as the course is beautiful, the course is always great. So it all plays in together. So. Alex Sharp joined. Albert Simon, what's happening, Albert? Alyssa Lutz, what's happening? Good to see you. Glad to see you riding your bike and doing all that good stuff after recovering from your little incident. Michael Pickle, Steve, my second year mountain bike ouchie. That happens, Michael. Trust me, it does. And you were back riding back then too, so yeah, I get it. Brian Steiner joined. Don Lasoli, what's happening, Don? Good to see you, Don. Cammie, what's happening? Cammie's checking us out live, so glad to see you guys all checking in. So, all righty, so we're ready for our last venue, and again, I talked about this earlier. So this is Turkey Mountain. Notice that Turkey Mountain is October 11th, so this is something that I decided to do this year. Um, so I guess I'm going to kind of conflict myself a little bit. So, Sinola, I gave you shit last week because of a post you made about back-to-backs. And I agree, and I still stand by my statement that back-to-back racing is not that big of a deal. It happens all the time. I will do it all year long. But that's because I race multiple disciplines. So I'm doing gravel, I'm doing mountain bike, I'm doing marathon races, I'm doing a whole variety of things. And so just because of that, it requires me to race weekend after weekend. I still stand by a statement that I've made in the past. Physically, unless you're doing back-to-back marathon runs, back-to-back marathon races, back-to-back just huge grueling type events, physically, back-to-back racing is not a big deal. It's just not. And in fact, it's probably better because once you get your fitness level right, you can back-to-back these races and do maintenance during the week, and then you're ready to go again. So physically, it's not a problem. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, we got these back-to-back races physically. I just can't do it. No, you're wrong, dude. I'm 51 years old. I back-to-back shit all the time. It's fine. It's not the physical part. It's this part. It's the travel part. It's the cost. Those are the issues. For me, it's the constant travel and just the mind. It's like just constant, having to plan ahead. It's like having to cut out of work early, having to, be in the car for 5 and 6 hours. Those are the things the racing is fine. Once you get there and you do the racing, you're fine. It's just it's all the other stuff. So I get that. So where I'm going with that is Turkey Mountain. We're moving into October. We're going to have a little bit of a gap from our last race. And we're moving into October, which I've not done in 4 or 5 years. And I've not done that because I didn't want to conflict with cross. However, the simple fact is cross really isn't going that strong early in October. There's usually a couple of races. Lately, they've been in Tulsa, Arkansas, far away. And I don't really feel that they conflict with mountain biking at all. Maybe a handful of you guys will go to those races. I'm talking one handful. So that's probably it. They don't conflict with us anymore. It just really doesn't seem to. And that's mainly because of the number of events we have going on. People are having to pick and choose. So if you're really going to do cross, you're probably not going to be doing the mountain bike season. If you're really going to be doing the mountain bike season, you're probably not going to be doing cross. There are a few, people that want to do both. So I'm not going to worry about that one date in October that might have a cyclocross race. I need that extra date to give a space. And the reason is because last year I crammed everything into September and we had 3 back-to-back races in September. And again, physically it was fine. But logistically, just having to be at 3 races in a row and travel to 3 different races and pay for 3 different races and all of the logistics that go into that it just didn't work. And I'm the first to admit that. I thought it would work well. I thought it would sequence well. I thought it would be a really easy way to clean out the season with back-to-back races because, oftentimes if you can kind of find your flow and race back-to-back races, it works really, really well. But admittingly, last year it just didn't work well, and our numbers reflected that. We actually increased the amount of people that we had overall. Natty Light, baby. Overall last year, we've increased our number of racers overall past 3 to 4 years, actually probably over the last 4 years. I think 3 and 4 years ago they were about equal, and then we upped year before last, and then this year we upped again, not significantly, but just small. But what we have noticed is a significant drop off at the end of the season. So We're working to address that, but regardless, we're moving to October again to spread things out a little bit. I hope, and I hope that will help. So, turkey is going to be turkey. However, this year I do want to say that I mean, we've got plenty of time. I mean, there's tons of time to worry about this. So I'm just going to drop some tidbits out there. We will not be at the YMCA this year. So that is going to be one thing that's going to be different. There's no reason for that, except that they're going to be undergoing some, apparently they're going to be, again, unless things change, and we're a long way out from there. Unless things change, they're going to be undergoing construction during that time of year next year. And we are not going to be able to host it from the YMCA like we normally do, and we have for the last several years. So right now it's looking like we're probably going to stage everything from the upper parking lot, which is not the lower parking lot where the restrooms are at and where the river trails and all intersects. It's going to be the upper parking lot. It's a pretty big parking lot. They've expanded for all of the multi-use runners, and, everything parking lot there. It's a pretty big area. And I don't know I don't exactly know what we're going to do with courses. Again, I don't want to put, I don't want to, say anything out of range, because again, this is not my choice. I work with Ray and the promoters there, but again, it comes down to really them choosing the courses. But being that we're going to start at that parking lot, probably we're only going to do one course instead of two courses like we haven't done in the past. We're not going to have a 1-2 course and then a Cat 3 course. We probably will likely just have the same course for everybody. So it'll be it'll be a mixture of a little bit of everything that'll satisfy all the categories. Again, we won't know until we really, really get into it. But I mean, again, we're talking, October 11th. So we have, we've got plenty of time to figure that out. So not a worry. So that is the schedule. So if you guys have questions, comments, hit me up. And I'm going to go back through some posts, and then I still have a few follow-up comments. So I'm at a 102. I'm hoping to finish in about, 120 or so. So I'll probably get another 15, 20 minutes of stuff. So, let's see, what do we got? Chris Prodsamy. What's happening? Chris is from, I met Chris, we've been friends on Facebook, but I actually didn't physically meet him until last year at Marathon Nationals. He's a Palo Duro Canyon, Texas guy. Does a lot of trail work up there. Awesome stuff. So, Ryan Paloma says, how many races will we drop this year for the point system? The drops will be the same, Ryan. We races. I'm not going to change those. However, we only have 9 races, so you just need to factor that in. So that means that it'll be 6 and 3. You'll count your 6 best races of the 9. Then that's how that works. So, Mike Pickle says, "Will there ever be a Roman nose in the tour ever again?" And who knows, Michael? We don't have a promoter. We haven't had a promoter for it. And honestly, I'm trying to pare the season down. So, I mean, at this point, I have so many venues that really could be in the race, and it's just we don't have the space for the calendar to put races in. I would love to have Roman nose back in it. It's one of my favorite courses. And for whatever reason, again, kind of like Ponca, you guys all know how it is. There's certain courses that just fit your skills and fit your abilities. And I don't know why. I don't know what it is about Roman nose, honestly, but I just do really well there. I've beaten a couple of very, very strong competitors that I normally never beat. I mean, they've beaten me for years on years on years, going back way before most of you guys even started racing. and I've beaten them at Roman Nose. So I mean, I love the place, but again, the trick there is that we have to have a promoter. I have to have a space in the calendar, and Roman Nose is honestly very weather dependent because it's, you get any kind of weather there and you can't race it. So. Corey Harrelson, I don't know if I responded to this or not. I saw this earlier, but I can't remember if I actually said anything. You said no Keystone, and that's correct, no Keystone. We have no promoter there. So I know we had several people want to step up and jump into Keystone, but again, my calendar is so full that I'm just going to let that roll. I mean, that's an option for the future, as well as many other venues, but we'll just kind of wait and see how it plays out. Chris Charles, what's happening? Corey Danielson, less climbs. I don't know what that comment's about. I say there's less. I don't know that there's less climbing in our tour. I think the difficulty level of our race season this year, though, is upped its game. So you can take a course like Steed, which is going to be your first course, and you're probably only going to be doing 5-mile loops. And you're probably only going to be doing 250 to 300 feet of climbing. But it's going to feel like 1,000 feet of climbing a lap. So, you can't judge it by climbs. So, Doug Osment, what's happening? Adam Vanderberg, what's up? Leo Jane Knowles, Little John Knowles, what's happening, brother? Hope you're doing it great out at Taos. Saw that cool ass rescue that you guys did the other night. So, Little John, man, hit me up privately. I'd like to talk to you. It's I remember you coming out to help Dave Burrell when he was doing the Steed race, and I know that you and him were good friends before he passed away. So hit me up. John Denton's in the house. Dude, Josh Potts, man, that's a good question. Says, our friends the hecklers coming to Ponca? Man, I hope so. Actually, I got this question last year because they didn't come, and I talked to the guys that did it, and the problem was there was some kind of family event, and the main group that did it, there's several of them that are related. And there was like some family event. Somebody was getting married, or there was something like that were happening. So they couldn't make it to Ponca. So I'm really, really going to hit those guys up. I hope they can, because those heckling videos that they do at Ponca are, dude, that's pure gold, man. I love that stuff. So I hope they could come back and do that. That would be awesome. Bobby Smith, what's happening? The start at Turkey. Corey, exactly right. I don't know what we're gonna do at Turkey. It's up in the air. We'll just kind of play that by ear. We have like 11 months to figure it out. So we'll figure it out, and Ray will figure it out. I mean, shit, Ray's been in this business a little bit longer than the rest of us. Rory Peterson, what's happening, brother? Bobby, hey. Okay. So let's jump into a few other things. If you guys have any questions about the schedule, again, I'm going to run through it real quick. Lake Tom Steed, St. Crispin's, Sooner Stampede, Fool's Dozen, Boulder Bash, RDR, Lake Carl Blackwell, Claremore, Turkey Mountain. You got the dates. I posted on Tour de Dirt. I posted on the thread here. You guys have have comments, questions, ask me. I'll try to answer them. And let's just start throwing them out. We'll talk about it. We got plenty of weeks to talk about this over the break, and and we're just gonna kind of roll from there. Bobby Smith, how many? Right, 9. We're going to do 9 races. Yeah. I got that, Corey Harrelson. Yeah, for sure. Totally figured that out once you figured out you were talking about Turkey and starting to talk parking lot. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just kind of see how it plays out. Be all cool. Who knows? Be fun. Cody just posted, says something about Turkey falls on the same weekend as the weekend as Oz Trails Epic. I was unaware of that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure that that's a huge conflict. I know it's a big race, but it's a big promoted race, and I wasn't aware of that date. But we've got 11 months to figure that out, so not gonna worry about it. Okay, a few other things before I get out of here. And again, I've gone an hour and 10, so I'm gonna try to, like I said, I'll try to get this out in an hour and 20, hour and 25. Let's just move on to Tour de Dirt stuff in general. I have a couple of things that I've been tossing around with my board, and still haven't decided fully on them. I'm not going to really. Just want to let you guys know. I mean, there's no big rule changes or no big significant changes that we're going to make next year. For the most part, all the rules, all the procedures, all the things that we normally do are going to just stay the same. Like I said, I have a couple little small things that I'm contemplating making some changes on. I still haven't made those decisions, but we still have plenty of time, and I'll announce those in future episodes, as well as on Facebook and I guess Instagram and other venues. So one thing that I do want to do, and this is something that I've been contemplating on, and I guess I'm going to commit myself to it tonight. So many of us that have been in this business a long time, and I think a lot of you guys know who we are. Some of you don't. A lot of them are promoter friends. A lot of them are just racer friends. But there really are only a handful of us guys that have been, and gals. I say guys, but when I say guys, I do mean guys and gals. I just, you know what I mean. But there's only a handful of us that have been around for a really, really long time and seen this whole thing through, over the past 20 years. And I'm lucky to consider myself one of them, and I'm lucky to consider myself in that whole group of people that have, and there's a handful that have. So I think that we have a little bit different insight on things. And what's funny is now that I see, as things are, we have so many young riders that are doing so many great things. And as that progresses, we have so many older guys like me, and some not as older guys like Ray Hall, and what's funny is, how when we were younger, everything was focused on self-improvement. How can I get faster? How can I get better? How can I beat so-and-so? How can I get on the podium? How can I win a state championship? And that was our goal. And, some of you guys like Ray had further goals. Like, how can I, go win, regional, stuff, and how can I go to California, and how can I, go race pro level and do stuff like that. But now that we, that we settle, and, we realize that, we're past that point of, we're not going to go pro, so now, but we're still racing hard, we're still racing strong, and we still feel that we are doing our thing there. But we also like to give back a little bit. We also want to teach people. We want to make it easier for people to get in the sport. We want people to be able to get in the sport and learn faster. And we love to share information. That's one of the reasons I do this podcast. I don't know if it's not a podcast. I guess it's I don't know what the hell it is. Facebook Live, YouTube, whatever. Anyway, but I like to share. I like to give my information. You ask anybody, and it's like you ask me anything about racing, I'll tell you. even if you're my competitor, even if you're the guy that I'm racing, that I'm trying to beat, or that you're the guy that's trying to beat me, and you ask me a question, I will, about a course that we're fixing to start on, I will tell you exactly what you ask me. I mean, that's just the way it is. I'm not going to hide. I'll give you the information that you need to make it easier for you to beat me. And I love that. I love sharing that information. You know, when this sport started and when I started, it was a very closed circuit. There was not a lot of available information. There was not a lot of team groups. There was not a lot of communication. And to figure out information, to figure out how to do things, to figure out how to train or get better or eat or race or all these different things that make up bike racing, the information was just hard to come by. People didn't like to share. And I think that you're seeing more and more that people like myself and some of the other racers that have been in this business a long time like to share. We're sharing with, so you're seeing groups, youth groups that are starting. You're seeing all the juniors that are starting up, all the bike club stuff and things like that. And I think that's great. So where I'm going with that is what I'm going to start doing, weather dependent. For every race that we have during this year, I am going to do a beginner's clinic every Saturday prior to each one of our races. And I'll probably try to create like an event page maybe for it. I haven't done that yet, but I will do that. And I will get some more directions. It's going to be basically free. And I'll probably have like a little coffee can, donations only, and you can throw in some cash. And what I'll do is I'll either, I'll just, I'll use that money to turn it around and do something fun for something in the tour. But that's what I want to do. I want to do, it's going to be a beginner's clinic, and it's going to start with like very beginner stuff, logistics, because I think that is one of the biggest things that scare people up, is scare people away. You show up at one of our races, we're all used to the chaos. We're all used to registration. We're all used to the time frame. But you get a newbie that shows up and they're like, they don't know when their race starts. They don't know where registration is at. They don't know how to get a plate. They don't know how to get USAC registered. They don't know how to register for the race. They don't know how to put their plate on. They don't know when the start is. They don't know when they're supposed to report to the start, let alone how do they warm up? How do they get ready for the start? How do they prepare for the course? What's the course like? Do they have all the right gear? Can they change a flat? Do they have CO2s? Do they have tubes? All of these things that we just take for granted. And so that's what I want to do. I'm going to do that every Saturday. And again, like I said, I'll develop an event page and a plan, and I'll publicize it more. But I'm going to do that for all of the races for the season, and that's pretty much it. So I'm looking forward to that, and I mean, you guys feel free to join. I mean, most of you guys, if you're listening, you're obviously not newbies, but if you know people that are new and you think that they might need a little assistance, then keep this in mind and point them in the right direction. And when I progress this further, then I will, like I said, I'll have information and links and event pages and things like that. And I just want to share data, share information, and make the transition easier for people. I'm probably going to culminate the clinic with a group ride, where we group ride the course and check out all the sections and show them proper ways to ride it and how to ride it. And that's what we're going to do. So, all right. So I've had a lot of comments on that. So thanks, Shane. I appreciate that. Says that's rad sportsmanship. Darren Hall says, sweet. Awesome. Late to the party. What's up, Wizard? Brandon Nesmith, what's happening? Well, Brandon, no worries, man. I'll you can watch the replay on YouTube, on Facebook, and I'll have it on YouTube later. So All right. Let's see. I think I have something else in my notes, but it's minimal. That's pretty much it. So Q&A. I'm gonna go up and see if I missed anything. If you guys have any questions, you better toss them out quick, because I'm gonna close up shop. So just for the record, in case you guys didn't see, this is my Steed trophy from way back in 05. I made some of these, 06, I think. So a little bit of blood on it, so you got pretty near bleeding. A couple of my old numbers, you can see this is last year's, and notice the trend here, 50, 51. Next year, 52. You get it. So, and this was like I don't know, I just throw this in here. This is an old trophy this is one of my very few state championship trophies. So I don't have very many. So. Corey Harrelson, you're right. Oh man, can you use it? I don't know. 420. Can you use the plate next year? No, you cannot use the plate next year. But when we get our new plates in, if you hit me up on time, I can probably reserve 420 for you if that's the right category. So, depends on what category you race and what numbers I get. So. Too funny. Oh, Adam, yes, you bet. Yeah, helps mitigate risk. I don't know. We all take a risk when we ride, so I don't. Yeah. I mean, that's just part of the gig. So, Ratone Parmain, my buddy, good to see you, man. You have to check out the previous the schedule and check out the link or the video. But glad to see all your pics of you and the new baby and seeing you guys hanging out. That's pretty cool stuff. So. Alyssa, no, the tour date schedule is not on the website. I have posted it on Facebook and in a comment here. So if you go out to the Tour de Dirt Facebook page, you will see the schedule. I will get my web guy to get the page updated as soon as possible. So hopefully over Thanksgiving he will have time to do that. So now there's a whole big discussion on the whole 420 plate. I mean, a lot of it depends on the category that you are in. So, Chris Cooper, dude, you're kind of late to the party, bro. But that's okay. I expect you to watch the replay. So. Kim Brown, Drew Hartling, hey, Chris Call, hey, sorry, I just want to call you guys out. I didn't see you guys check in. So, yeah, very cool. Yeah, Alyssa. So yeah, so we'll have it updated on our website ASAP. Honestly, normally we don't have the schedule out until about Christmas time, usually about New Year's Day. But with all the different disciplines and all the schedules coming out, I've just been pushing up. Excuse me. I've just been pushing up, getting our schedule out earlier and earlier. So honestly, probably next year, I'm going to be looking at trying to get our schedule out by October. It's just one of those things that we just have to push it out further and further, because the longer I wait, the more people take our dates. And honestly, in the world that we live in right now, with so many disciplines and so many things going on, I mean, we're small fish in a big pond, and if we don't get our dates out there, still some of these places don't care, but it's still nice to go ahead and get our schedule out as early as we can, just to kind of get it out there. So I'll next year I'll probably be looking at mid to late October to try to get our schedule out. So Brandon Nesmith, what's in the big brown cup that looks like a growler from? So I assume you're meaning this guy right here. So yeah, this is awesome. So no, there's nothing in this cup. This is just a cup that I have. And you know what? Had some really cool people. I'm looking at the video and not my actual cup. So no, this is just a handmade cup from some of our local Tour de Dirt racers, and just made it and made several of them, and I was a lucky recipient of one of them, and so super cool. So I just kind of keep it as, I'm kind of afraid to use it, although it's totally usable. But yeah, no, this is like handmade pottery. It says Tour de Dirt. Yeah, so gearing up for a ride on the back. So yeah, it's just super cool. Totally handmade. It's awesome. So, Keely Young is the maker of that. So for you guys that know Keely, she hand makes stuff like that. So it's super cool. Aaron Trahan joining, what's happening? So yeah, so I'm gonna finish up with my my Homer Jaeger. So Taylor Owens joined. So you guys go out and check the replay if you missed anything. If you guys have questions or comments, go ahead and continue to post. Over the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'll still go through all those and look, and I'll try to continue that. If you have any questions, hit me up privately. Definitely go out to the event page. I have an event page for the Weekly Wizard Update. Like that. Say you're going to attend, or you're interested, and that way you'll get updates anytime I post on the event page. It's a recurring event page, so it doesn't change. Go out to my YouTube. I haven't posted on here. I'll try to post it here in a minute, because I don't have it pre-copied and pasted. I'll try to post it out here. Go out to my YouTube and like it. I post all these up to my YouTube page when I'm done. You're going to mix a whole bunch of stuff out on my YouTube page. You'll get, my random work stuff, as well as my Tour de Dirt stuff. So anyway, I think we've got plenty of stuff going. I've gone almost an hour and a half, and glad to be back. So sorry I've been gone for so long, and hopefully we'll continue these into the holiday seasons and through that, and then into the Tour de Dirt season starting February 23rd. Lake Tom Steed. Love you guys. See ya.